Welcome back to Homesteading with the Zimmermans, where each week we give you another episode of what's happening here on our Northeast Iowa 21-acre homestead. My husband Alvin and I have been married for 25 years and we have 7 children. 5 of those children still live at home. Our oldest 2 are married and no longer live at home, so this means we also have 2 son-in-laws and 1 grandson so far. So on our 21-acre homestead, we seek to preserve the self-sufficient lifestyle of our old order Mennonite heritage for the next generation. We involve the children in every aspect of the homestead, from raising and harvesting our own meat, gardening and preserving to fill the family's larder, or preserving the dairy from the family milk cows, plus all the many other skills that develop the character and integrity and relationships of a family that seeks to bring glory and honor to their Heavenly Father. Hello YouTube family, I am so happy that you are back here for another episode on Homesteading with the Zimmermans. My name is Ruth Zimmerman, and in today's video, I am going to be showing the steps that I take when I do a broth fast. So fasting, we all know that fasting is a good practice. Spiritually, it's a good practice. Health-wise, it's a good practice. And through the years of being pregnant and having a lot of little ones, I never fasted just because it took too much out of me, right? It didn't have the brain space, all of that. All of those of you that have little ones currently probably understand more than anybody else why I couldn't fast during those years. But recently, I did a fast. In the last couple years, I learned about this company called Plexus. And now before you all go away, I am not part of the Plexus community. I have used their probiotics, and I have friends that are Plexus ambassadors or whatever they sell. It's a multi-level marketing, and they sell. So I have friends that do that. And one of my friends was telling me about something that they do that's called a 3-day reset. And, you know, of course you purchase it in a kit and it has all your drinks and meals for 3 days, and it's kind of like a fast, right? Except instead of not eating anything, you are eating things that are very high in probiotics, and you're just resetting your gut. And so I did that twice, and I really, really loved the results, right? I did not love the price. And I didn't love that, their collagen powder and things like that are highly processed. And even the probiotic pills that you're taking throughout your fast, that's processed. So, for example, the probiotic pills that you take, they first have to grow the probiotic, and then they have to freeze dry it. And then when you consume that, you're trusting that your body activates all of that probiotic that's in that tiny capsule before it passes through your digestive system, right? And it's all a very good, I'm not knocking the Plexus system, but being who I am, I'm like, wait, I can recreate this using our homegrown, alive products. So that's kind of where I developed my own broth fast. So I'm going to take you through what a 3-day broth fast looks like, and hopefully it'll inspire you. Whenever you do a fast, you make up your own rules as you go. So what I'm looking for myself is when I travel, we don't take our own food when we travel. We just try to make choices that are as healthy as possible. Recently, we've been traveling and taking the children with us, 1 or 2 of the children. So then it looks completely different because we're buying more meals when we're on the road. So we're looking to not spend as much money. And also the children have opinions on where they want to eat and what they want to eat when we're traveling. So I've been eating a lot of junk. And the one thing that happens when you eat a lot of processed foods is it kills the microbiome in your stomach. And if you understand composting and all of that, you understand what happens when you eat food. So your gut is alive, right? It's got bacteria in it, just like a compost pile. And this bacteria, along with your body's function, helps digest your food. And the more this bacteria can break down the food, the more nutrients you're going to absorb. So the more processed foods we eat, and the more antibacterial things that we are in contact with, even just, by washing our hands and things like that, the more it kills the bacteria in your gut. So by doing a broth fast, I am resetting my whole gut system. It's like the reset button. And so one of the rules that I make myself when I do a broth fast is I can drink broth and eat fermented foods only fermented foods for 3 days. So that is going to look like clabber and my fermented pickles, and I've got some sauerkraut. I really wish I had more fermented foods right now, but it's okay. And then the length of time you do it is completely up to you. And 3 days is about my max. Sometime I'd like to push through 3 days, but one of the other reasons is my family does not like when I sit down to the meal, because we eat all our meals together and I'm not eating. So I might be sitting there, sipping my broth, and they're all eating, and especially the younger boys, that makes them really sad. So when this morning at the breakfast table, when I announced that I was doing a broth fast, they were all like, "Oh, we don't like when you do that." So that's one of the reasons I don't usually do it longer than 3 days, is because they don't really appreciate, or they don't like when I don't eat with them. So the first day is usually the worst because I have a lot of sugar cravings, and then my blood sugar kind of balances out a little bit and I start feeling a little better. But one of the things to keep in mind is that you don't want to have 3 very busy days planned. That you'll want to keep your activity level low and not push yourself, because your body is going to be struggling for energy. But yeah, the sugar cravings are all simply your body wanting to take the easy route and have instant carbs for energy. And it takes a while for your body to switch to burning what you're giving it for energy. And one of the other reasons I don't like to do longer than 3 days is because I don't want my body to start consuming muscle instead of fat. And also, I don't ever approach this 3-day fast as a way to lose weight. Do I lose weight? I probably do a little bit, but I've never been one to step on the scales. As long as my clothes are fitting me okay, then I don't worry about my weight, because I know for a fact my weight does not define who I am, and I know that body structure makes a big difference. And if I am comfortable, then that is all that counts. No body mass index chart or anything like that is going to make me feel like I am more than or less than. As long as I'm comfortable in my body, then it doesn't matter what I weigh. So I never approach it as weight loss, and more as from a gut reset kind of approach. So I've got my first broth. I also do a coffee fast when I do a broth fast, because coffee alkalizes the body. No, coffee makes your body very acidic, and when you are acidic, your gut health is low. So having an acidic body It means that your gut and your body's just not going to work as well when you're acidic, and you're going to have a lot of inflammation. So I'd go on a coffee fast, and that I'll take past the 3 days. I'll probably do a whole week of no coffee, but as I go, I'll be showing you what I use instead of coffee. And here's my first broth of the day. I'll show you what I do right when I get up. But anyway, thank you for joining me in this not quite so fun kind of video. So the first thing I do when I wake up is make myself some lemon water. This is a practice that I've learned from my mom. She would do this all my growing up years. And I try to do this 3 or 4 mornings a week regardless if I'm fasting or not. So I take the juice of 1 whole lemon. So then I also add about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of mineral salt. So the lemon soothes your digestive tract and it helps eliminate toxins, any leftover toxins that my kidneys or liver may not have completely been able to eliminate while I was sleeping. And it also creates an alkaline environment in your body, which is great for your gut microbiome. And the salt is to help with hydration. Any dehydration that may have happened overnight, the salt just helps to rehydrate me. So for breakfast, I am always going to have a Clabber smoothie. So Clabber is fermented milk, so that's my fermented food, my dose of probiotic that I'm taking. I'm also adding a handful of fresh picked raspberries, and I'm just going to blend that all together. Normally when I have this for breakfast, I add a bit of maple syrup, but today, because I'm fasting, I'm not adding a sweetener or anything. I also want to make sure that I have enough fermented milk or Clabber to get me through the next couple mornings of my fast. So I am making a large batch of Clabber by taking some of my old Clabber and adding some fresh warm milk to it. And then I'll just set that in a warm place and let that Clabber, and that will be enough to get me through the next couple days. So since I'm on a coffee fast, I am replacing coffee with this mountain hazelnut, not coffee tea. So it tastes a lot like coffee, but it's not coffee. It's made with birch bark and dandelion root and other healthy ingredients. And it is from Farmhouse Tea. And I am going to link to their tea store in the description for you. I may be able to put a QR code up here. This nice little stainless steel tea steeper is from Farmhouse Teas as well. So for lunch, I am going to have some beef broth, and this is broth that I froze about half a year ago. I will link to that video so you can learn to make your own broth if you don't already know how. And I'm just going to make it nice and warm, pour it into a mug, and I add a little pinch of mineral salt to make it taste really good. This is beef broth. You could also use chicken broth if you want to. And a pinch of pepper, and mix that all in, and that is going to be my lunch. So why broth? Well, broth is a very simple yet nutritious food. It's very high in collagen and gelatin, which help heal the lining of your stomach and in turn fight inflammation. So then for an afternoon snack, I am going to have a bunch of my fermented pickles and sauerkraut. As long as it's something fermented, I'm not going to worry about how much or how often I am eating. And on this day, I was fairly active because I had to go to school and teach PE, and I played pickleball with the kids, so I was very hungry this afternoon. And then for supper, I am simply going to have some more broth. So by bedtime, I'm feeling very hungry, so I'm gonna make myself some plum tuckered out tea, and this is also from Farmhouse Tea. I am going to have my code and the link in the description for you, and I'm feeling very hungry by this point, so having something to put in my mouth is going to be a great distraction while I find something to do with my hands until it's bedtime. Well, guys, today is day 2 of my broth fast, and I'm definitely not feeling like my energetic self. I am wanting to sit down a lot, which that is to be expected. That's exactly what I expected. And so I got up. I had my lemon water with a little bit of mineral salt to rehydrate myself, and lemon helps to alkalize your body. And then, yeah, a lot of brain fog today. And then I had my clabber smoothie for breakfast. So clabber is fermented milk, so that counts for my fermented foods only. And I added some fresh raspberries. And basically what my body is doing is shifting, is resetting to... I'll probably have to wait and finish this video up after I'm done with the fast. Actually, what I need right now, it has been about 3 hours since I've had anything besides water. So I think I'm going to go make myself some broth for lunch, and then I will eat something fermented between lunch and supper, and then at supper time I will have some more broth, and then at bedtime I will have some tea. So day 2 is definitely the worst, and I always know if I can make it through day 2, I'm going to make it to the end of 3 days or even further if I want. But for as many times as I have done this, I have always found day 2 to be the absolute worst. Good morning. It is day 3 of my broth fast, and I'm having some black tea this morning because yesterday I did not drink any caffeinated tea, and I ended up with a really, really bad headache, which for me is typical when I don't have any caffeine or when I'm doing a caffeine fast. So my sugar cravings are completely gone, and I'm very hungry for real food. So that's usually a sign that my digestive system has completely reset itself, because prior to doing the fast, I craved nothing but sugar and junk food. So I'm getting to the point where all I can think about is what I'm going to eat tomorrow. And I'll film tomorrow what I usually eat as I come off of a fast, but I'm hungry for things like eggs and meat, rather than just being able to think of what junk food or sugar I can consume next. So one more day. It's been a challenge. I'm going to say that. It's been a challenge because normally when I do this fast, I do it in the winter, or rarely do I do it in the busy season because I'm too active. But I actually feel like being active has kept my energy levels up. Yesterday was really rough and I had zero energy. I drug myself through the day. But this morning so far, I'm feeling a lot better. But a little bit of activity usually brings my energy level up, like getting my heart rate up, even though I'm hungry. and feeling depleted, but getting my heart rate up usually brings the energy back. So yesterday, I should have done something. I should have gone on a brisk walk or something to bring my heart rate up, and then that kind of releases some adrenaline that gives me energy. But anyway, one more day. So I haven't had any breakfast this morning yet. I've been drinking black tea, and I'm gonna go make myself a clabber smoothie, and then that should get me through the next couple hours. Good morning, it is day 4. I am drinking some black tea out of this pretty mug, and I ate some eggs for breakfast. This is the end of the broth fast, so this is where we're gonna wrap it up. I had 3 over easy eggs with lots of melted butter, and it was so good. And I think that's the biggest result that I see after doing a broth fast is I get really hungry for real foods. Very seldom am I hungry for eggs for breakfast. I'm just not a big breakfast eater. Closing thoughts on the broth fast for you. You make the rules. You decide how long you're gonna go. And here's what I can tell you. Day 1, for myself anyway, I am extremely hungry. Day 2, I usually have a lot of brain fog and feel real lethargic. And then day 3, things tend to turn a corner, and things kind of balance out, and I start getting hungry for real foods. So however many days you want to go, and focus on replenishing your microbiome. That's always my focus, and alkalizing my body. So the 2 things that I know make my body very acidic, and I know that I've said this before, this video's gone over 4 days, so I forget what I said. Coffee, especially on an empty stomach, and junk food and sugar and flour. So removing everything except the bare bones of nutrition. Removing everything from your diet except the bare bones of nutrition, which would be broth, and then adding as many probiotic-rich foods as you can. So those are my rules for myself, is 3 days, remove everything except the bare bones. For me, that looks like broth, remove everything except broth, and probiotic-rich foods, so anything fermented or broth. And I can have those things as often as I want. Normally, it looks like every 2 to 3 hours, I'm either drinking some broth or eating fermented foods like sauerkraut or pickles, or drinking a smoothie. Now, in my clabber smoothie, clabber is fermented milk, I would throw a handful of raspberries in. And the raspberries, I always pick them fresh. I don't feel like that, hindered me in any way. And I make my own rules, right? So going forward, I'm going to continue my coffee fast. So I'll probably continue that. Usually my goal is at least a week. And sometimes after a week, I'm not even really craving coffee. And I'm going to greatly limit myself as far as sugar and flour goes. So my personality, the way it works is I just gradually slide down that slippery slope of junk food and indulging, and until I get to the point where I'm like, man, I'm not feeling good, I have inflammation, I feel like I need to see the chiropractor, I'm struggling with headaches, things like that. Those are all signs of inflammation. And for me, it's usually in my back or my shoulders. And guess what? It's gone. I went to see the chiropractor about a week ago, and although it helped, it was still a pain. And so the 3-day broth fast completely took care of that. So that's how I know that was inflammation. So, but I know myself well enough that in a couple months, I will be right back here again, and I'll need to do another fast to get me back on track. But that's okay. I know how I feel when it's time to reset my body, and then I'll do it again. I generally do a broth fast about 3 or 4 times a year, about every 3 months, whenever I start feeling that inflammation and like I need a gut reset. So thank you for being here. A lot of you on Instagram had questions. I hope that this answers them for you, and we will see you next week.